Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight I have a very special show. I have Bethany Drysdale of the Department of Tourism, and we're going to talk about a subject that the department's now in, is sustainability. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're here at Carson Valley Arts Council, and we're talking about sustaining a community for the future. And there's a lot of things that an art council can do for the community, just music. I've been trying to promote a lot of local artists on the show because I think we can really keep them local. We have so many artists that get trained and they leave, and I think we should just be able to keep them here.
Yeah, something like the Arts Council is a great way to showcase local artists. People from out of town, in tourism we deal with out-of-towners, of course, and they want to know where they can go to see local art on display, where they can go to possibly even meet some of the artists or meet people within the local arts community. So the Arts Council is a perfect place for that.
Well, like the picture behind us is a photograph. I always thought it was a painting, and it's over here at Art Springs in Minden, and you can come and I think you can even take lessons from some of these people and learn how to do it. So that's even better. But as far as the locals, I know a lot of the kids end up going to Reno, and I want them to come back.
Yeah.
They go to school, and we have the best band, and the Douglas High has the best band, and they go away, and I want to promote art as much as possible to keep them come back home.
Come back here. Well, this place, Carson Valley, is so inspiring for the arts. I mean, anywhere you go, you could be inspired to write about the area. I mean, look at the great writers that have been inspired here. Mark Twain, you can't get much better than that. Inspired by the just the beauty all around here, the mountains and the valley, and it's just really, really a beautiful place to get that muse and that artistic juice flowing.
Well, that to me is one of the main things about sustainability in this region is you have all these things that we could have people come and check it out and then go back home.
Yeah.
So it's kind of keep it a small town, but it's so beautiful. And when I go anywhere, I immediately notice the mountains are missing and everything's flat. And every time you look out your window, the view is just awesome.
Yeah.
I drove in today from Reno, and the view is just when you hit that valley picture, and it's absolutely perfect. And but you're involved with the Department of Tourism, and now you're getting involved with sustainability issues too.
We are. We've gotten involved with the Sierra Nevada Geotourism Council, and geotourism's a little different. It's not ecotourism like a lot of people think. It's the idea of pinning a location to that location, going to a restaurant that could only be in that location. Chain restaurants need not apply. But it's really about things that show the character and the vibe of a certain area and really pin it to that area. So here, some of the places, Tahoe Ridge Winery, that would qualify.
They make their own wine, and they're getting some awards too.
They're getting some great awards.
And my mom came and visited. We took her to lunch there. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a top level chef, and that's a very good one.
It is, and the fact they grow their own wines, make their own wines. They're the first estate winery, I believe, in Nevada. And really, we could go do a whole show on wine in Nevada because we don't have a lot of wine, but what we have is vastly improved over the last decade or so. And they found a way to grow grapes that don't require a lot of water, which we don't have here. In Fallon, Churchill Winery figured out a way to grow the grapes that use actually a tenth of the water that the old crops used to use. Same here with the Tahoe Ridge Winery. They're growing grapes that require very little water. So it is a sustainable crop, something they can keep growing year after year. They're making more money on it than they would have on anything else they would have grown. So that's a way, going to the winery and eating lunch there, buying their wine, that's a way to support a sustainable company. So that's what in tourism we try to do, is promote these places that are self-sustaining, and visitors can help that process by buying from them.
Well, I know when you're talking about saving water, I learned just recently, or maybe the last couple of years, that by getting mycorrhiza into your yard and your garden, you can save a lot of water. And I think that's involved with a lot of the products that you're talking about. You get over to Full Circle Compost, you can get that and put it in your mulch.
Yeah.
And I was with somebody who was picking up some for the planting of pine trees, sugar pines, and just adding more mulch. And we're going to compare the growth of the ones with mycorrhiza with the ones that didn't.
Yeah.
But that's all adding to our beauty. They're replacing the Angora fire trees, what we're doing. And but if you really pay attention and study people who, like the wineries, how they saved water and apply it to your home.
Right.
It's a big deal for Nevada for being dry, because one of the things why I got so interested in the saving water area was my neighbor took out his yard because there's no water.
Yeah.
He didn't want to pay for it anymore.
Yeah.
And I thought it just was a drastic change. Also, my neighborhood went from green yard to rock.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and I just don't think that's the way to go. But when you promote sustainable companies, it really helps everybody, I think, because the money stays local, and you're helping their business. And then word of mouth it's almost like a tourist attraction too in itself,
Yes.
because you're going to go find out how they made wine in Nevada.
Yeah. Well, and there are, I hate to classify visitors as any certain level, but there is a certain type of visitor who will actively seek out places that are locally owned, organic, use locally sourced food for restaurants, and those people tend to spend more money. They tend to stay longer. It's great for our economy. We want people to come here, spend as much money as possible, and then go home. And that's one way to do it. And it's a very conscientious traveler. They're people who aren't going to go throw their garbage out of their window on the freeway. They're people that if they go camping, they're going to leave their campsite better than when they got there. So we want all visitors, but that's really a special type of visitor that that anybody would want to attract. So that's why we got so involved with the geotourism movement. Because it really does attract people who are actively trying to make their travels benefit where they go. Instead of taking advantage of their destination, they're trying to make it better.
Well, I think it's awesome. I know one of the places I go to is the Trading Post in Genoa. They have grass-fed local beef, so you can buy your beef locally, and it's a nice little store with artists from the area, and they have little Nevada hamburger patties, like the state.
Oh, I love it.
So that's another one to consider. Buying your grass-fed beef that you see on these, in the valley. You see all these cows, and they're just happy cows.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal that one, but they're happier here, I think, anyways.
Yeah.
But you can just go to Genoa and get your grass-fed beef,
Yeah.
and hopefully they're at the restaurants too.
Yeah, Genoa is a great example, and Carson Valley in general is a great example of sustainable tourism. Eagles and agriculture that happens down here.
Yes.
That's a perfect example. It's something that naturally happens, and people want to see that. This is a phenomenon that you don't see anywhere else. So people will come and they'll stay here, and they'll stay in hotels, and they'll eat at restaurants, and they'll buy gifts for their family, seeing this thing that's going to happen whether they're there or not to watch it. It's a perfect example of using nature and using what's already here to attract more visitors.
Well, it's been very successful. I had James Settlemeyer on my show before, and he has one of those ranches, and he was saying how they didn't come until he was around 7.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have this eagle in the barn just sitting there all fed from eating all the afterbirth, and it was he's like a little kid, and the eagle's like too full to move. And he just like thought, what the heck's going on here? And the eagles are big.
Yeah.
And you don't really understand how these birds of prey are really serious birds.
Yeah.
And but they put, it's kind of, you're really up close and personal, and got to respect those eagles.
Yeah.
And they have bus tours, and they have lectures, and it's brought the bird people who study the birds into a higher level, I think, because when you go to these tours, they're really entertaining, and they know so much about the eagles. It takes like years to get the beak and things, and they fight over the food, and it's definitely worth doing.
Yeah. It's really amazing. Birding itself is another really good sustainable attraction. People will come from all over to see a certain type of bird. And in Nevada, we've got 400 and something species of birds. People don't realize we're one of the most biodiverse states in the nation. I think we rank 6th or so. We have all these birds, all these animals, all these plants that people come here to see. People that live here often look out and they just see barren desert. There's nothing barren about the desert out there. It is teeming with life. And people will come here and, again, stay in the hotels because it takes a couple days to see all these things. They'll eat at our restaurants, and we're trying to get them to eat at local restaurants. We're trying to get them to shop at the locally owned businesses and, again, keep the money here.
Well, I like that idea because it's just, I started coming to Nevada when I was 20, and the view, everything I looked at looked like a picture. And it's real life. I kept on waiting for the set to move, cut. And finally I committed to move here like actually really over 20 years ago. I said, I'm going to live there.
Yeah.
And just when you go out into the desert, your senses are just overwhelmed. So there's so many things to do, especially when I first saw the wild horses. Because where else in the world do you have wild horses that are just down by the, you can go really close to here and see wild horses.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I don't know, have you seen wild horses?
Oh, yes. There's actually a herd. I drive from Dayton to Carson City, and there's a herd on the right-hand side of the freeway every day, every morning at the same time, sometimes in the evening as well. And my family just visited from Oregon, and they were blown away. So, wow, it's real. It's really real. There are really wild horses out there. Oh, yeah, see those every day. You know,
I know, but we sometimes take for granted what we have.
Yeah.
And then when you get a new set of eyes, like my mom came, and she thought I was making it up.
Yeah.
And then she said, I saw him at the Ridge a couple years ago. I got him to come and visit me, and I was driving home, and a mama bear and a baby bear crossed the road. And I said, wow, that was close. I told my mom the next day, and she goes, yeah, right, bears. Well, she just sent me an article about a few weeks ago. It was talking about a Tahoe bear problem. And she goes, you weren't making it up. Because she sometimes thinks I make up things. But Tahoe bears are a part of our life, too.
They are. And, people travel here because they see that it really is kind of still that wild west, for lack of a better word. There's so much to do and so much to see. We've got a lot of culture and a lot of entertainment, but it still is very much that kind of untamed Wild West where we have bears running around and wild horses and coyotes. I went to a zoo in California and they had coyotes on display in the zoo, and I thought, what?
Just go down to the dump.
Yeah,
and dump
my backyard.
The road. Yeah, I can see them all the time. I do.
Yeah. So I think part of sustainability is recognizing what you have, what is natural to your area, and then capitalizing on it, getting people to understand, hey, come here and see what we have, because you won't see it anywhere else, or you won't see the combination of this stuff anywhere else.
Well, that's what I do with my mom. When she visits, I have her stay in a different area, and then she gets the local feel of it, and it's really a lot of fun because she can't believe this place. She's in Florida, and it's a completely different world here.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I just really enjoy, like I said, I took her to the Tahoe Ridge Winery, it's really good, and Russell's Mercantile Bakery, and we have so many good family companies here that we're really spoiled, and we don't even, I want them to stay in business, and just so I really appreciate them and bring your tourists to our area.
Yeah.
Or my mom.
Yeah, my parents.
And they appreciate it too. I took them to the Genoa Bar.
Yeah.
And we heard the story about Raquel Welch's bra.
Yeah.
So talking about sustainability. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about sustainability and Nevada tourism. Thank you.
What lies beyond the curve in the trail? What secrets are there? My feet carry me into its veiled mystery, and I want to taste the sweet air and hear the song bestowed by nature. Just this once. Until the next curve, the next trail, the next walk through the Carson Valley. The Genoa Foothill Trail System will connect the Carson Valley with the Tahoe Rim Trail, providing a wonderful trail system near the oldest town in Nevada. This is just one of many projects the Carson Valley Trails Association is working on for our communities, but we cannot do it alone. Please contact us by visiting our website and find out about becoming a member or signing up to help build our community trails. We're looking forward to seeing you out in the most beautiful land Nevada has to offer.
Hi, we're back from break with Bethany Drysdale of the Nevada Department of Tourism, and I just keep on thinking about how great the state is. Every time more you think about it, we have it made.
We really do. There's so much to do and see. And we're so nicely positioned right here. Reno is so close. There you can get all your entertainment and get a lot here too. You can get your big casinos if you want that. And actually, the casinos are getting on the ball now too. The Pepper Mill is totally geothermally heated. They drilled their own geothermal well.
Wow.
And they, right there on property, because they see the value in saving electricity, gas, everything. And now they are entirely heated, water for the entire hotel and air heated by geothermal power that they generate on their own. They're the largest in the whole U.S. to do this. So they're
That's exciting. I like the Pepper Mill.
Yeah.
That's a big place.
It's a huge place. It's the biggest in Reno, and one of the biggest. I think Silver Legacy's bigger. But to have a huge property like that understand the value of sustainability. They don't have to rely on the power grid. They can create their own. So, I try to get people to support places like that understand the value. The Atlantis in Reno, their Bistro Napa is all organic, or mostly organic. I'd say about 98% organic. They are understanding that it behooves them to offer things that people will pay more money for one. And it's just better all around. It's better for the environment. It's better for your body. It's better for the economy, everything. So it's really, I think, important as I hope, conscientious traveler and consumer. I still go to Walmart when I need to. There are some things you can't really avoid doing, especially if you're on a budget, but there are ways to incorporate responsible consumerism into your life, and pretty easy ways. I mean, staying at the Pepper Mill isn't rough.
Well, no, this is an exciting area. I didn't hear about that at all.
Yeah.
And, everyone always talks about Embassy Suites, which is a good story, too,
yeah.
with David Hansen, and how they save so much money to help the economy, because people are very tuned into geotourism these days, and they know who's helping the environment, who isn't, and they never laid off an employee the whole last 2 years.
What they've done at the Embassy Suites, South Lake Tahoe, right on the state line, just amazing. Recyclable bags or recycling bags in rooms. Why not? Why don't more hotels do that? Let people let it stay there. Put the recyclables in a paper bag right there in the room, and then not end up in the landfill. And it's such a no-brainer that it's amazing more people don't do it. All the plants that help purify the air. I mean, just the small things that places can do, and the Embassy Suites really made an example of it. Staying there, you're paying the same amount you'd pay anywhere else, so why not stay somewhere that's doing something good for the environment and good for us as well? Well,
yeah, if you ever go to Sacramento, you see that big cloud of haze over it. Yeah, and they're probably coming up here to get some air.
Yeah.
And obviously air is something I think about, so more times you plant trees and things like that, that's a good thing.
Yeah, any plants and, trying to incorporate local plants, plants that are supposed to be grown here. We tried growing jasmine in our yard, and we're quickly told that it's going to die, and sure enough it did, because jasmine doesn't grow here. But why not go to a local nursery and find plants that are supposed to grow here? And we have plenty of nurseries
My garden is
that.
perfect. I'm very good at that.
I'm not yet. I'm learning.
The local nurseries are really sharp.
Yeah.
Just they're experts, because the environment here is really harsh.
It is.
Yeah. And the ground is very harsh, so it's listen to what the locals say.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about. There's restaurants. We talked about Tahoe Ridge. There's Cafe Girasol. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Right here in Gardnerville, they do a lot of organic food, and I understand. I haven't eaten there yet, so it's on my list, but I understand it's a really, really fantastic menu. Organic, so why not? Why not support something local that's doing something good for the environment?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Other things, you're talking about your mom coming from out of town. Some things that you can do locally, the hot springs. We're, I think, like the third most geothermally active state in the nation. We have tons of hot springs. The Carson Hot Springs in Carson City is just phenomenal.
Now, is that the place to go to?
Yeah.
Because I was going to take her to Wally's, but I didn't know the status of it.
Well, Wally's, from what I understand, the hot springs portion is still open, and I hope I'm correct in that. You can go to davidwallys.com, I believe.
Okay.
Hot springs are open, but the restaurant and the condos are closed. The hotel portion's closed.
It's a beautiful place. I've been there for a wedding little mini convention before, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I didn't know if you could go there as a tourist.
Yeah, you still can, and again, everything's on the websites. But you can go to David Wally's. And if I have the website wrong, just Google David Wally's Carson Valley, and you'll find it.
Well, that's a beautiful place to go. You have this water steaming, and then you just fish in it.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like, how do they do that? Yeah. And supposedly, some prince came here many years ago and got cured from their ailments.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put my mom and my stepdad in these waters to see if it helped them too, because he has terrible pain problems. And so Carson is the place to go now.
Carson Hot Springs in Carson City.
Okay.
If you're in that area. It's all natural hot springs, but they've created a really nice tiled pool. So it's just like a swimming pool, but it's hot. I've been there when it's snowing. It's open year-round, 7 days a week to like 11 p.m. So it's great to go with families, but I take my kids there. It's not too hot for kids.
Okay.
And they've got floaties and all kinds of stuff to make it a fun time. They've got hot tubs as well. And the water is really good for you. And they do have a water container where you can fill up your own water jugs if you want to take that with you. So, drinking the water with all those great minerals in it doesn't get much more natural than that.
Well, I didn't know about that either. I didn't know
Yeah.
you could buy water.
Yeah, you can take your water with you. So that's a fun place to go, a good way to spend a day if you've got visitors from out of town. Oh gosh, there's just so much
Can
to
they
do.
contact you to find out about this geotourism? Because I was saying earlier that one of my biggest regrets was when my mom came here, I really thought I was prepared for her to do some tourism items. And all of a sudden, I got the logistics all messed up. She wanted to go to the Bauer Mansion, and I didn't know if they were open or not because I knew they were under construction. And I didn't know about this and this and this.
Yeah.
You don't have the time to figure it out then.
Yeah.
You have to pre-study it.
Yeah, you really do.
And so I think if you can contact you somehow or your office.
Actually, the best website is SierraNevadaGeotourism.org. It's a web or a map-based site where you can select where you want to go. This area, the Carson Valley area, is part of the Tahoe Emigrant Corridor. Select that part on the map, and then you can enter activities you want to do, or events, or any category, and it'll bring up results. And what's interesting about this site is that everything on there has been vetted through the Geotourism Council. They went through every single item on there to make sure that it really is geotouristic. And then it's also being kind of an extra layer of certification through National Geographic, because the whole council is powered by National Geographic.
Now, would something like the soaring NV or the would that
That's on there.
qualify? Because
Yes.
it's obviously a resource that we're the best in the world for having a mountain range with the beautiful views.
Yeah.
You get a view of Lake Tahoe. I had my girlfriend's mom came from Citrus Heights, and we put her in. I think I told you that last show
Yeah.
about soaring. Then I got another ticket for my Deborah to go soaring when she wants to, but that's unique to our area.
It
If they want to go, I think you should definitely invite them, because you can't beat these views, and they're even better from a little higher up.
Soaring is on the site because that is very much geotouristic. It's something that you only find here, and actually the air currents are specific to this area. So there's an air route, for lack of a better term, that is also considered geotouristic. That's on the map. We've got routes on the roads. We've got all sorts of different routes. This air route is very specific to this area.
Wow.
And that's part of what the whole soaring thing takes advantage of. And it's a neat way to see the area. I've seen pictures from up in the plains.
Well, when you see the little dirt devils, and the wind today was really high coming in, but when you see the clouds, the strata clouds, they love that.
Yeah.
That's when the clouds are looking really wild. That's what they love.
Yeah.
Because they can have a lot of fun.
That's something, absolutely you can do. Going up to Tahoe, there's so much to do up there that is very specific because of Tahoe. It's very specific to our area.
Soaring NV is a family company too, and so that's
Love
always
that.
a good thing to promote.
Yeah. And we've got some great family-owned restaurants around here. JT, you can't really beat
Yeah.
JT.
They're the same people that have the trading post in.
Good, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're nice people too.
Yeah. We've got that. The Genoa Coffee Company, I believe that's family-owned, and they roast their own beans, and it's a good way to support and consume local products.
Well, they have a little area you can sit out and just look at I used to like to sit on their porch and look at the sun. How the shade would go up each like a little bit at a time until the valley's all full of shade.
Yeah.
But it's so cool there.
Yeah, it's so
And
nice
it's
up there.
picturesque.
I just learned about this Killer Salsa company that's right here in Carson Valley, and mom and pop organization that grew. They realized they had a great product, partnered with Rayleigh's, and now they are the salsa company, and it's all made right here.
Well, she's a nice lady too. I used to go to the chamber little mini conventions we had in Douglas County. She's just a nice person, and then the product is good too.
Yeah.
I like the Killer Salsa.
But it's pretty good. I'll have to try that. Some other things we've got. You mentioned Heartstring Gallery right upstairs, the gift shop. They sell all local products. And what a great place. You're from out of town. You need to get some gifts for your family before you go home. Locally made soaps, and actually the soap I learned is made from snow. It's called Sierra Snow Soap, and really, can you get much more natural than Sierra Snow? It's made with all natural products, and then the snow is the liquid to bind it all together. So she sells locally made snow soap, glass, photography, everything local. So what a great place to come right right in the middle of town. And
So Hot Springs is at the Carson Valley Arts Council?
yes, right on Highway 395 through town, so you can't miss
Well,
it.
I would like to talk to her about that snow. Where does she get the snow?
I guess her season for making it must be pretty limited, but
Well, I don't know. I think that's a great idea. It's nothing purer than snow.
yeah, true. So there's really a lot of great, we mentioned earlier, art, and it can all be found right here.
Well, this is a photograph, like I said earlier, and
yeah.
I just think it's beautiful.
It is, and you can find a lot of that at a lot of the galleries around here. Some of the events that that highlight local arts, we talk about cowboy poetry once in a while. And
Oh, yes. Cowboy Poetry has a lot of local artists,
Yeah.
and obviously Candy Dance has a lot of activities for our artists as well. And the Genoa, Cowboy Poetry, they're getting bigger and bigger, and it's just 1 year old.
And it's something that you can only find here. There's cowboy poets here and there, and there's the big festival in Elko, but cowboy poetry is very specific to this area, and the event is very specific to this area. So that's what makes it something that people will want to come from out of town to see and do.
Well, I know Stan Pear is a lecturer there, and they have more and more lectures on the history of our area.
Yeah.
Because our history is, like I said, the cowboys, and it's very exciting stuff. The Pony Express.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique area.
The miners and the Pony Express stations alone. We could do a whole show on the Pony Express stations. People travel to find these things. Sometimes, like we always say, we take them for granted, but people travel to see this. They want to see, wow, the Pony Express, that's where it went, where they delivered mail. Snowshoe Thompson, wow, this is where he was. It's just, we have so much history here, and tourism is kind of the cover that brings all that together, and so that's why I get excited about it, because I get to put my hands in all these little
You have the
topics.
best job.
Do.
I really appreciate you for being on the show and telling people how can they get a hold of you. What's your website?
TravelNevada.com. We have all the information there, and then for the Geotourism, Sierra Nevada Geotourism.
So check out her website, and when your family comes, be ready for a vacation.
Yes.
So, anyways, thank you, Bethany Drysdale, for being on Nevada
Thank
Trails. And I learned a lot, so I hope that you enjoy the show. Thank you.